Hey, welcome to Cow Free Kicks. This video is all about a disaster of a shoe from Nike. It is the Nike Interact Run. Welcome to the video. If you've not seen one of my videos before, I always look into 5 different categories when I review a pair of sneakers, and they are looks, comfort, weight, breathability and price. And then at the end of the video, I will give these Nike Interact Runs an overall rating out of 5 stars. And as always, if you do like what you see and you want to show a little bit of extra support, please do click that little thumbs up like button below on your device. And whilst you're down there, if you've not done so already, please do subscribe to the channel. So let's kick off the first section of the video by checking these out on feet. These Nike Interact Runs are currently available in a couple of different colorways stateside via the Nike.com website. I did call them a bit of a disaster at the start of the video, and it's just because overall I don't think this shoe works for me. And one of the things that really stands out is the fact that these are called the Nike Interact Run, and that's because they have a QR code present at the top of the tongue. Now I tried to scan this code with multiple different phones and it doesn't actually take you anywhere. The code on this pair of shoes that I've got is completely redundant. Now they do state that it's part of their care and repair campaign, which means that you could probably get sent links to videos on how to care and repair for your shoes rather than buy a new pair or just throw them away. And it is also part of Nike's Move to Zero campaign. So 25% of the materials used in this shoe are made from recycled content. And another good thing about this shoe is that at the end of its life, you can find somewhere to take these and recycle them with Nike. And I'm not sure if that also is something that was going to be provided with the QR code, because that's what Adidas do with a lot of their recyclable shoes. But it's completely redundant. So really, the name for these sneakers is a bit of a disaster, like I mentioned, because I can't interact in any way with these and the realm of Nike online with this QR code. So it does feel like the whole purpose of this shoe is a little bit lost. And looks wise, I just don't quite get it either. The midsole for this sneaker is absolutely massive. It's incredibly chunky. It fans out at the front part of the shoes. You can see when the bird's eye view, it really does stick out at the sides. And then as you move towards the midfoot, it cuts in and then it aggressively flows away. It's incredibly huge. I really don't like the way that it looks, to be honest. I just think it's too chunky and it makes the top of the sneaker really flat and looks just a bit flat on your feet. It's got too many swooshes as well. I do like the large embroidered swoosh on the outside of the foot, but then you've got a further swoosh at the bottom of the laces and one on the inside of your foot, as well as the redundant QR code on the top of the tongue. You've got more Move to Zero campaign emblems there, and then as you move towards the heel of the shoe, you've got a bit more of the Interact Run branding towards the heel on the heel pull. And then you move to the outsole of the sneaker. You've got some nice waffle cutaways, pretty standard, but they do offer quite good grip. I just think as well, the Flyknit for this is a little bit lost. I really like how soft this engineered Flyknit is, and it's made from less materials, so there's less wastage, and it is very airy and breathable. We'll talk about that more in the comfort section and the breathability section. But as you move towards the rear of the sneaker, you can see that it kind of cuts off from this grid Flyknit and then it moves towards more of a linear look, and I just don't like that. I just don't like the combination of the two together. I just think it looks a bit lost. Overall, just not the biggest fan of the way these look in hand and on feet. Now, I do want to talk more about this incredibly chunky midsole in the comfort section by putting it to the test on my back doorstep. You could see from the step test that there was incredibly small amounts of responsive give and bounce back in this incredibly chunky unnamed midsole unit that Nike have added to these Interact runs, which is a massive disappointment considering this sneaker is predominantly made up of this incredibly chunky midsole unit. And because it's called the Interact Run, you'd be hoping at least for some energy transfer and some bounce back, but there's absolutely nothing. These are absolutely flat as a plank underneath your feet, incredibly firm. So do not expect these to offer you cloud-like cushioning, because they really don't. And I'm really disappointed with how these perform under feet. On top of your feet though, this is a really nice soft Flyknit. It's really airy and breezy, which felt nice on my feet. I really like the way that I could feel the breeze running through the shoe. And they've got really nice cushioning on the tongue, just at the top here, and also around the heel there's really nice padding as well. On top of your feet, they do feel very supportive, and I did like how soft they felt, and they're an absolute true fit. So don't worry about going half a size up or half a size down. I've got perfect length UK size 10 feet for a pair of Nikes, and also I've got slightly wider than average feet, but there's plenty of room in this toe box. But overall, just how they felt underfoot was such a massive disappointment that it really does take away from the other comfort that you get on top of your feet. Now I want to move on to their weight, where I want to pop them on the scales. Coming in at 291 grams, that's an absolutely great weight for a pair of sneakers. Anything under the 300 gram mark and below, I consider freakishly light. Anything around the 350 gram mark and below is normally lightweight, and anything above 400 grams is heavy, like a pair of Air Force Ones. These are gonna give you a little bit more comfort because they are lightweight, but even though they are lightweight, like I mentioned in the comfort section, the fact that there's absolutely zero energy return from this midsole unit really does take away from the fact that they're such an excellent weight. Now moving on to their breathability, I want to pump this crisscross Flyknit up a foot of smoke to see how breathable it is. Great result in the breathability test. This open weave Flyknit grid structure that they've got at the toe box and the middle of the foot let the smoke escape incredibly quickly and in incredibly large amounts. So they're going to offer you great breathability. And like I mentioned before, when you're walking around in these, you can feel the breeze running through the shoe. So they're going to offer you great breathability. So at least there's a couple of redeeming features for this sneaker when it comes to breathability and weight. But now let's talk more about their price. Now these come in at £100, and it's probably an all right price normally, but I just can't get away from the fact that I would never buy this pair of shoes, even if they were £60, because the shoes that Nike have produced that are in the budget range, that are around that price, just offer more for me than it would to spend that extra money to get these at £100. So I can't really back the fact that they do come in at £100, even though in today's market that is a pretty cheap price for a pair of sneakers. And that's going to move me on to my overall score for these shoes. And I'm going to give them 2 stars, and they're only getting 2 stars because they are very lightweight and they offer great breathability. But I don't like the price point. I really don't like the way that they look, and the fact that you can't seem to interact with them with this redundant QR code. And I just think comfort-wise, they offered me absolutely nothing underfoot, and that was a massive disappointment considering the amount of midsole you get for these. So 2 stars for me is probably a generous score. I really did want to give them 1 star, but they do perform too well in weight and breathability to give them that harsher mark. But I do think overall, like I mentioned, a bit of a disaster, this sneaker. Now, if you've liked what you've seen today, please do not forget to give the video a thumbs up right before you leave. You can also follow me on Instagram. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.